Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it's Thursday, January 16th, and we are going to get into the Q-related news in this video. So we're not going to be touching on the other stuff, although there's lots of interesting things happening with that, and I am preparing another video on that topic. But this is going to cover the news because it's been, a few days, and I thought that we need to get caught up on the news. All right, so that's what we're going to do in this video. There are no Q posts, so we are free to cover this, and we will. Okay, I hope everyone's doing wonderfully this evening. It's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, so everyone should be in a good mood. All right, well, not the people that have to work on the weekends, but the other people. Okay. Well, we're going to come down here. I've got lots of people to thank, but I will save that for the end of the video because I know that all my regulars always listen to the end. So I will save that to the end, and we'll get started here. Now, I do want to let you know, though, that I am working on another video. And in fact, I've been working on it most of today, but I am having difficulty finding a lot of information. I've been digging and digging and digging with not a lot of success, but whether it is real or not, I think that it bears investigating. So I know there's a lot of people writing to me, this is fake, this is fake. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Well, then I guess it won't hurt if we investigate it, will it? So there you go. Now, maybe I'll find out that it is definitively fake, and I will let you know. As soon as I find that out definitively, I will let you know. But in the meantime, I am going to look into it because I think it's interesting. And there's enough there, there's enough meat there to make me think that there's something to it. So anyway, let's leave that aside and let's go on here. Hopefully I'll have that video for you tomorrow, but for now, let's get into the the news, the meat and potatoes. All right, let's look at this first. And here says, if you're wondering why the House never proved their allegations against real Donald Trump, here's your explanation. And this right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. It's not a question of proof. It's about allegations. That's what Speaker Pelosi said. Can you imagine bringing somebody to trial and saying, well, it's not a question of proof. Yeah, it kind of is. So let's just listen to her. I hate to torment you people. I really do. But it's only 21 seconds. Just kind of like grit your teeth and kind of get through it, because I know none of us like listening to her. I'd rather have my eyes dug out with spoons personally, but
It's not a question of saying what proof. It says what allegations have been made. And that has to be subjected to scrutiny as to how we go forward. But it should not be ignored in the context of other events that have happened that would substantiate some of that. It's not a question of saying what proof. It says what allegations have been.
It's not a question of proof. It's about what allegations have been made. Well, without proof, that's all they are, right? So, yeah, it kind of is about proof. Can you imagine, impeaching a president with no proof, just allegations? I mean, my gosh, we could allege anything, right? Doesn't mean it's true. I could say so-and-so raped me. Wouldn't make it true. I would never do that either. And neither should any of you women out there. I know that women have, and then it makes it harder for women that really are raped. That is a pet peeve of mine, but I digress. So there's Pelosi herself saying, oh, it's not about proof. No. Look, there's my well, now it seems normal again, but my cursor has been moving by itself, which don't like that. I think I'm going to have to take it somewhere to make sure that there's nothing, strange going on with my computer. All right, because there evidently is. Let's go back now. See, I'm having a hard time even controlling my cursor. All right, now let's look at this. Pens aplenty. Pens for everyone. All right. A pen for each pathetic letter. Yes. Yes, it's true. She's signing each individual letter with a different pen. Now, why is she doing that? On such a solemn occasion, such a sad, sad occasion. But wait a minute, she doesn't look sad at all, does she? Not very much. Yeah, we're going to get back to that. This little cursor thing's driving me crazy. I don't know why anybody wants to like be in my computer. What's in there? Nothing. Nothing that would interest them, but all right. And this from Donald Trump Jr. And he's replying to ALX. Judge revokes bail for disgraced lawyer Michael Avenatti after arrest for new financial crimes. Well, there's some good news, isn't there? Because I don't think any of us like Michael Avenatti. Donald Trump Jr. responds to that and says, I normally take no joy in other people's misfortunes, but in the case of Michael Avenatti, I will definitely make an exception. And I'm right there with you, Donald Trump Jr. I don't ever glory in anyone else's misfortune, but that is somebody that I wanted taken down because he is the lowest of the low. All right, let's go on now. And this from Lauren Fox. So many pens that Pelosi will sign to officially transmit the articles of impeachment and sign resolution appointing House managers. Why so many? Because they'll be given away to members like House managers as a symbol of today. Yes, they're being given these mementos because I'm sure they'll all want to remember this, this day. And of course, they're all signed with her name. It says Nancy Pelosi on each of the pens. Well, isn't that special? Don't you feel bad that you didn't get a Nancy Pelosi pen? No, I don't either. No, I'd stomp that thing and I'd break it and then I'd burn it and then I'd blow it up and then I don't know. And then I'd just resurrect it just to kill it again. All right, that's just me. Okay, let's go on. All right, Pelosi is all smiles while signing articles of impeachment and has said this is a somber and prayerful moment as she hands out commemorative pens to her fellow Dems who are laughing and smiling as well. Sickening. Raise your hand if you agree. Yes, I definitely agree. And I bet all of you do as well. But let's look at her. Just look at her. Oh, she loves the attention, doesn't she? Look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh, I'm going to stand up now. Look at me. I'm so happy. This is all because of me. Now they're going to all march to the Senate House with this. Oh, look at everybody's taking her picture. Oh, and she's handing them out. Isn't that special? Have a Nancy Pelosi pen. Poor Nadler looks like he's going to fall over any minute. He did not look well at all. I think that there's something with his health going on. Oh, yes. Oh, look, they're all looking. Oh, look, I got a pen, look. Oh, hand some more out. There you go. Oh, I got a pen too. Yeah. Boy, it's a special day. Special. Oh, I'm going to put my pen on my mantle. Oh, and look at Mad Maxine there holding up her pen. Oh, impeach 45, impeach 45. I got a pen. Yep, that's her. Okay, let's go back now. Yeah, that was special, wasn't it? Okay, now let's look at this. And listen to this. Look and listen. Okay, now this says Senate. This is breaking 911. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blasts Pelosi for handing out golden impeachment pens from silver platters from a table with a political slogan attached to it and smiling for photos. In December, Pelosi called impeachment a solemn day and wore black clothing. Not today, She was all dressed in pink and she was smiling and handing out her little gold pens with her name on it. Oh, she must have felt like such a big girl. Yeah. All right, well, let's listen.
Speaker of the House decided yesterday that a trial could finally go forward. She signed the impeachment papers. That took place, Madam President, at a table with a political slogan stuck onto it. And they posed afterwards for smiling photos. And the Speaker distributed souvenir pens to her own colleagues emblazoned with her golden signature that literally came in on silver platters. The pens literally came in on silver platters. Golden pens on silver platters. A souvenir to celebrate the moment. Well, nothing says seriousness and sobriety like handing out souvenirs.
Should have handed out
As though
t-shirts.
this were a happy bill signing instead of the gravest process in our Constitution. This final display neatly distilled the House's entire partisan process into one perfect visual. It was transparently partisan performance from beginning to end.
Oh, yes, it was. You know, it should have said, I went to an impeachment and all I got was this lousy pen. That's what it should have said. Or, better yet, don't give out pens at an impeachment. What is wrong with your head? It is pickled from too much vodka. All right. Let's go here. My cursor just wants to go wherever it wants to go, but we're going over here. Okay. Mark Meadows said this. As the Democrats read their impeachment articles in the Senate, you will notice the absence of two things. Even one alleged underlying crime, and that's because there isn't one. And two, even one firsthand witness that can testify to the Democrats' claims. That's because there aren't any firsthand witnesses, because there are no crimes. That there should amount to game over. Yes, it should. In a normal world, it would. It would signify game over. Could you imagine if a lawyer went into court and wasn't even alleging a crime and didn't have any witnesses? Yeah, that would be a problem, don't you think? So, but, not in the Dems world, because they are off in a world that none of us live in. And I am thankful for that. Okay, now let's listen to Ted Cruz, because we can. Now, let me just see here. Okay, this is getting on my nerves with my cursor here. It is concerning me, actually. Okay.
I'm headed to the Senate floor, getting ready for the start of the impeachment trial. The partisan circus that we've seen in the House is over. We're getting ready to receive the House managers. Shortly after that, all 100 senators will be sworn in by the Chief Justice. We will then proceed to have a fair trial, to respect due process. Unlike the House, to give the president a full and fair opportunity to defend himself, and then we'll decide this issue based on the constitutional standards for impeachment, which is high crimes and misdemeanors. The House articles don't meet that standard. They don't allege any criminal conduct whatsoever. So at the end of this process, after a fair trial, the president will be acquitted, and he will end this constitutional circus, this political farce that started in the House. This is the beginning of the end of the abuse of the Constitution.
All right.
I'm headed to the Senate floor, getting ready for the start of the impeachment trial.
This to any of you guys that are computer experts, it would appear that there is somebody in my computer. That's what it would appear to me. But if any of you guys know how I can address this, let me know, because I know that there are some computer experts out there. I'm good with computers, but I don't think this has ever happened to me. So, all right, well, let's... Very strange. It's strange indeed. Okay, let's go back here and let's look at this. I think this might be part of the same Pelosi pen handout. Oh yes, okay. It's not possible to make Pelosi's celebratory pin handout any more ridiculous than it already was. I agree, and he meant to say pen, not pin. All right. You know, this is actually very difficult to maneuver with this doing its own thing here. All right, let's listen to this. You know why? Because we can, and you know, we will.
Okay, we're gonna give out pens. You get a pen. You get a pen. Oh, you get a pen. Here we go. You get a pen. Yes, you get a pen.
Everybody gets a pen.
More. You get a pen. You get a pen. You get
Now
a
watch
pen.
Mad Max. Oh, she's so happy.
You get a pen.
Oh, she's
Okay,
happy
yes,
about
you
it.
Get a pen.
All right,
More
enough of
pen.
that. You get a pen, and you get a pen. Yeah, you get a pen too. Some of them don't look overly impressed. It's like, yeah, it's a pen. And other people are like, oh, look, it's my commemorative pen from the impeachment. Yeah, I'm special. Oh, well. I mean, if that's all it takes to make them feel like they're important, then, you know, whatever. Okay, so let's... Well, if my cursor will allow me to go back, we'll go here. All right, now let's look at this. Pelosi on impeachment before versus Pelosi today. She did the annoying pen thing like when a president signs a bill into law. I really wish that would go away. This was shameful. I stand with President Trump today and always. So let's look at this. This is her back when she was saying, oh, it's such a solemn, solemn day. Okay, let's listen here.
This is a very sad time for our country. There's no joy in this.
Oh, she looks so happy.
It's sad. This is a very sad time for our country.
This is
There's
what
no
she looks like when she's sad.
Joy in this. It's sad. This is a very sad time for our country.
Yeah, I just, you know, I have to drive that home. You know, not that you guys don't get it, because I know you do. But it's so ridiculous. I mean, there's President Trump signing the most important bill, you know, the trade agreement with Mexico and Canada. And what does he sign that with? A Sharpie. Yeah. And then there's Pelosi with her thousands of pens there. Each letter is a different pen. Like, come on. All right. Now, this may make some of you chuckle heartily. Maybe not. Now it says, this is funny. Shows, this is from Eric Trump, shows how tuned out Americans are to this impeachment sham, which of course it is. Let's listen here.
Representatives for 12.
153rd of California's House delegation is this Intelligence Committee chairman. His name is Adam Schiff.
Nobody knows who he is. Representatives for 12.
Isn't that funny?
153rd of California's House.
I just thought that, you know, you had to kind of, you know, rub that in, that nobody knows who he is. We do, because we've been following this whole thing all the time, like since the beginning of Q anyway. And, you know, certainly since the time that Trump was, you know, put into office, duly elected into office by we, the American people. Yeah. So anyway, let's go back now, if my cursor will let me. Okay, this by Matt Couch. Will Joe Biden suspend his campaign as Senators Warren, Sanders, and Klobuchar have to return to D.C. for the Senate trial? If you didn't think this was an attempt to get Joe Biden as the Democrat nominee, you're a fool. Do Democrats realize the DNC is screwing them again? That's exactly, I hadn't thought about it until I read this, and all of a sudden I went, yeah, really? Because Senator Warren, Sanders, and Klobuchar have to go back to D.C. for this trial. So they're not going to be out on the campaign trail. And who's going to be out on the campaign trail? You think he's going to stop just because they can't be campaigning as well? No. So, and you know that he is the favored one. You know that because they're always saying, oh, Joe Biden, he's right in the front there. There's a good chance he'll beat Trump. Oh, please. The guy couldn't even, it was at the last video or the video before where he was looked like he was in a funeral parlor and there's just a few sleepy old guys in there. Come on. You really think he has a chance? None of these people must have been to a Trump rally. Now, I haven't been there personally. I would love to go. I want to so badly. But anybody that's seen pictures, he packs out stadiums everywhere he goes. Who could do that? None of the people that are running. No way. Not even close. Not even a quarter of a stadium. I don't know anybody politically that could draw a crowd like that. I don't know, and I'm not just saying in the States, but I don't know anyone in the world that could draw a crowd like that. So, anyway, let's go on. And this from Donald Trump. He's so bad that he's good. He's he trolls people unmercilessly. But it makes me laugh because the stuff he says is true. Anyway, he says, crying Chuck Schumer is saying privately that the new China trade deal is unbelievable, which it is, but publicly he knocks it whenever possible. That's politics, but so bad for our great country. And he's right. He's right. I wish they'd all stop playing politics and do what they're put in office to do. They're all self-seeking, they're power-seeking people that want in power for the mere sake of being in power and because of their pocketbooks, because they all leave rich, very rich, all of them, it seems. Anyway, this from John Solomon, and this is good news. John Solomon just announced the creation of a brand new news outlet called Just the News. We'll be getting started over the next few weeks. Follow us at JTN Reports or visit justthenews.com. Now, of course, John Solomon is a fantastic journalist and is a real journalist who actually cares about reporting the truth and the real news. So this is very good news for us because we can't watch the mainstream media. There isn't any news that I really trust explicitly. Now, Fox News is better than the rest, but it still has things on there that I question. So this is really good news, and I think that we should get this spread around as much as we can. So you can visit justthenews.com. I don't think he's got it started yet, but it's going to be up and started in the next couple weeks. And you can also follow him on Twitter at JTN Reports. So that is good news for us all because we need something like that has a trained journalist that is trustworthy. There's lots of trained journalists out there, but they're not doing their jobs. They're sold out. So they might as well not even have a journalism degree, really, because what they're doing is not journalism. They're parroting. You could put a trained monkey up there to do that. So anyway, well, if the monkey speaks English, you know, that's a given. All right, let's look at this now. Yeah. This by the True Pundit. And says, watch, GOP lawmaker who lost both legs in Afghanistan throws down challenge to Dems over Soleimani's killing and leaves them in silence. So Representative Brian Mast, he is a Republican from Florida, lost both legs, one finger after stepping on an IED during a mission in Afghanistan for Operation Enduring Freedom, made a powerful statement Tuesday to explain why Iranian General Qasem Soleimani's killing was justified. So, Representative Brian Mast asks for the name of fallen service member that doesn't justify Soleimani killing. I will sit here and wait. Silence. Thank you, Mr. Mast. I think you've made your point. Mast, Mr. Chairman, I have not yielded back my time. So that's awesome. Now, I hope they have a video of it. I thought they did. Oh, here it is. Yeah. There we go. So let's listen to what he has to say here.
Now I want to ask a question. Some people might call this rhetorical, but I'm not going to ask it as rhetorical. There's a number of my colleagues still remaining here. I am more than willing to yield to any of my colleagues that want to answer this question. If you walk out this hallway and you take a right and another right and another right, you're going to come to several beautiful walls that have the names of our fallen service members from the War on Terror. And I would ask, can any of you provide me one name on that wall that doesn't justify killing Soleimani? I got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll be more than happy to sit here and wait. Somebody provide me with a name on that wall that does not justify his killing. The gentleman may continue. I'm continuing, Mr. Chairman. I got 2 minutes remaining. I will sit here and wait for somebody to provide me with a name on that wall that does not justify the killing of Soleimani.
Thank you, Mr. Mast. I think you made your point, Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Chairman, I have not yielded back my time, and I still have a minute and 45 seconds.
You're disrupting the
I will
procedures
not
right now.
yield back my time, Mr. Chairman.
You're disrupting
I
the
have a
procedures,
minute and
Mr.
45
Mast.
seconds remaining, of which I would like to wait for somebody to provide me with a name of somebody on our memorial wall who does
You're out of order, Mr.
justify
Mast.
the killing of Soleimani.
You are out of
I
order.
will not yield
You are
back
out
my
of
time.
order, Mr. Mast.
I will not yield back my
made your
time.
point.
I am
Mr.
not
Chair.
out of order.
Mr.
You
Chair,
are
I'll yield a minute.
Chairman, for reclaiming this time.
Mr. Chair, I'll yield a minute of my time to Mr. Mast.
He's got time.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you, my colleague. I appreciate it.
See, I think that this is awesome because he has them. They can't give up a name because imagine what it would look like if they did. And they sit there in silence. He has them. And it's true. How can anyone say that the life of one service member is not worth? I mean, those service members that have been killed by Soleimani, they deserve justice. And this guy deserves justice. He lost 2 legs and a finger. He's paid a huge sacrifice. Maybe not the ultimate sacrifice, but a huge sacrifice. I have a great deal of respect for that man. I didn't even know him before today, of him. And he just sits there and...
If I might begin?
Thank you for yielding me your time, although I did not yield my time back. I thank you. I will note that there was no response of one name offered that did not justify the killing of Suleiman.
That's awesome. And it was very kind of his colleague to yield up his time, because obviously he knew that what the guy was saying was very important. He was making a point, and I don't think he could have made it more dramatic and poignant than that. So anyway, I'm not going to read the whole article there. I just wanted you to see that, because that is the spirit of America right there. So let's go back now. Now I know why they call it a cursor. I'm just saying. All right, now let's go look at this, because this is big news, of course, today. And Senate passes USMCA, but much work remains. It'll take years of costly work before American workers and businesses begin to benefit from the new trade pact with Mexico and Canada. I don't necessarily believe that, and Politico is not the most unbiased source out there by any stretch of the imagination. The Senate on Thursday overwhelmingly passed President Donald Trump's signature trade deal with Mexico and Canada, helping him fulfill a 2016 campaign promise in a rare bipartisan vote. It's a big win for the president going into his re-election campaign, as he seeks to prove that his disruptive trade agenda is delivering results. But it'll take years of costly work before American workers and businesses begin to benefit from the new trade pact with Mexico and Canada, which passed the Senate in an 89-10 vote. The job is not nearly done at this point. Senator Sherrod Brown, one of the most labor-friendly Democrats and a USMCA supporter, told Politico ahead of the vote, the USMCA will now be sent to Trump's desk to be signed into law, and he has in fact signed it into law. Trump said Wednesday that he'll do so next week. Well, I believe that he's already signed that, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Some Democrats, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, okay, this is if ever there was a place for a collective eye roll, it's here. Okay, I hope you feel better. So Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Kamala Harris of California and Cory Booker of New Jersey and Bernie Sanders of Vermont, voted against the pact for not doing enough to protect American jobs or address environmental issues. Well, whenever would Chuck Schumer, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, or Bernie Sanders be for anything that Trump was proposing? So there's that. Okay, and then despite the fact that it includes very good labor provisions, I am voting against USMCA because it does not address climate change. Oh, another eye roll. Okay, the greatest threat facing the planet, Schumer said. No, I think you are probably one of the greatest threats facing the planet, Schumer, but you know. Again, I digress. Passage of the USMCA comes just a day after Trump signed a so-called Phase 1 trade agreement with China, another major focus of the president's trade agenda that should appeal to his base in manufacturing states. The China deal includes increased purchases of U.S. goods and adds new restrictions, but it fails to address long-standing concerns over Beijing's industrial policy. It's like the World Series and Super Bowl all in 1 week, said Senator Rob Portman, a former U.S. trade representative on the Senate floor, but the USMCA will not go into full effect until Canada approves the pact when its House of Commons reconvenes in late January. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau lost his legislative majority in the October election, but the county's Conservatives are expected to lend Trudeau's Liberal Party enough votes to pass the deal. Mexico was quick to pass the revised deal, but the U.S. southern neighbor still has to deliver on fully implementing its landmark labor reforms that ensure workers have access to organize and participate in independent unions. Many Democrats, and surprisingly many labor unions, ultimately got on board after securing changes that made the USMCA one of the most progressive trade agreements ever negotiated by either party. So anyway, that's that about that. I'm not going to read all of that because why should I? Used to be called NAFTA. And actually, originally, that is how I got to the States. I came under the NAFTA TN1 visa, which granted, because of my degree and everything and expertise or whatever, I was granted, you know, access into the States. And then I immigrated there because, well, it's an awesome country. What can I say? All right. All right. And let's look at this. Is Bloomberg crazy? How out of touch can one man be? Pretty out of touch, as we'll see here. Like, way out of touch. Like, what planet is he on? Yeah, it's like, do you really want this for POTUS? No. And it says, yeah, we're going to listen to this in a second here. He's like out there. He says, when we raise taxes on the poor, it's good because then the poor will live longer because they can't afford as many things that kill them. What? Yeah, like healthcare? Like decent food? Like education? I don't know. Yeah, let's listen to him. Let's listen to him dig his grave, because that's what he's doing with his mouth.
Taxes are regressive, but in this case, yes, they are. That's the good thing about them, because the problem is in people that don't have a lot of money. And so higher taxes should have a bigger impact on their behavior and how they deal with themselves. So I listen to people saying, oh, we don't want to tax the poor. Well, we want the poor to live longer so that they can get an education and enjoy life. And that's why you do want to do exactly what a lot of people say you don't want to do.
Wait a minute. His reasoning for, yeah, you want to tax the poor because you want them to live longer. Okay, well, taking their money away does not help them live longer. It stresses them the heck out. And then they can't afford health care. They can't afford, how do they, oh, we want them to live longer so they can get an education. Well, if you take their money, how are they going to get an education? Oh, I never thought of that. What is wrong with him? Like, he is not even capable of being president of the PTA. In fact, I would hope that he never is. But can you imagine? Well, yeah, we got to tax the poor so they can live longer. Whenever has poverty equaled a longer life? Never. You don't have access to proper housing in safe areas. Yeah, that decreases your life expectancy. You can't afford good, nutritious food, so you eat all the processed crap because it's cheap. You don't have access to health care, so you just go to clinics or whatever you can afford. You know, you can't afford your medication, even if you do go to a free clinic. You know, really. And how are you going to pay for an education? You're probably working 2 to 3 jobs just to have a roof over your head. And this guy thinks you should be taxed. Yeah, if you're poor, you should be taxed more, so you'll live longer. He's a nut. He's an absolute nut.
The question is, do you want to pander to those people, or do you want to get them to live longer? And there's just no question. If you raise taxes on full sugary drinks, for example, they will drink less. And there's just no question that full sugar drinks are one of the major contributors to obesity, and obesity is one of the major contributors to heart disease and cancer and a variety of other things. So it's like saying, I don't want to stop using coal because coal miners will go out of work. Well, will lose their jobs. We have a lot of soldiers in the United States.
Michael Bloomberg, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I do not take that lightly, calling anyone an idiot, but you are. Because raising taxes on the poor. And what does that have to do with, oh, you put taxes on sugary drinks? No, he's talking about raising their taxes, not just raising taxes on sugary drinks, because that doesn't just affect the poor. It affects everybody. He's an idiot. I mean, he can't even think like logically to come up with a good explanation of why he wants to raise taxes on the poor. Unbelievable. Like, oh yeah, well, if you tax drinks, then they drink less drinks. So, and then they'll have less money to spend on the drinks too. So yeah, we're saving their lives. Yeah, like as if that's your job. Like, you know, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go back. No, really, let's. If my computer will let me see it, just open stuff that I didn't even open. Come on. There we go. Unbelievable. All right, and this from Daily Wire. Oh, this, you're going to find this good if you haven't heard it already. Investigators with ICE, FBI reviewing criminal allegations against Ilhan Omar, report says. Woohoo! That's all I can say. She needed to be reported and investigated a long time before now. Whoops, see, this is driving me absolutely out of my head. Investigators with multiple federal agencies are reportedly reviewing evidence of alleged crimes committed by far-left Representative Ilhan Omar that center around her marital history. The Blaze reported that toward the end of last year, the Department of Justice had signed an FBI Special Agent in Charge, or SAC, to review Representative Ilhan Omar's apparent astonishing spree of felonies from 2009 to 2017. The Blaze noted that the FBI SAC stated that the wide range of criminal activity suggested by the evidence against Representative Omar may lead the FBI to expand the review to other federal departments, and that in recent weeks, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the Department of Education Inspector General have reportedly joined the investigation. Well, well, well. The Blaze report was authored by David Steinberg, who has extensively covered the criminal allegations against Omar for many months while at PJ Media. The Blaze reported that ICE's involvement in the investigation pertains to questions about Representative Omar's 2009 marriage, which allegedly includes 8 instances of perjury, immigration fraud, marriage fraud, up to 8 years of state and federal tax fraud, 2 years of federal student loan fraud, and even bigamy. She's been a busy girl. The Department of Education Inspector General is reportedly looking into whether Omar's 2009 marriage to a British citizen was an attempt to facilitate federal student loan fraud or other fraud involving higher education. The Minnesota Star Tribune has reported the following timeline of Omar's marital history. 1982, she's born in Somalia, the youngest of 7 children. 1997, Omar, still a teenager, settles in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis after fleeing Somalia's civil war with her family and spending 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya. Omar, now 19, marries Hamed Hershey, 22, in their faith tradition in Minnesota, but they don't legally marry. 2008, Omar and Hershey, now the parents of 2 children, reach an impasse in our life together and divorce in their faith tradition. 2009, Omar, at 26, marries Ahmed Nur Saad Almi, 23, whom she identifies only as a British citizen. School records show he attended high school in St. Paul and studied art at North Dakota State University. 2011, Omar and Almi end their relationship and divorce in their faith tradition, but do not legally divorce until 2017. 2012, Omar and Hershey reconcile and have a 3rd child together. 2014 to 15, Omar files joint tax returns with Hershey. Although they're not yet legally married, she remains legally married to Almi. 2016, Omar, endorsed by the DFL over longtime incumbent Phyllis Khan, is elected to the Minnesota House, becoming the first Somalia Somali American Muslim legislator in the United States, but her campaign is rocked by allegations in a Somali news forum and the conservative Powerline blog suggesting that Almi is her brother and that they married for unspecified immigration benefits. 2017, Omar is granted a legal divorce from Almi. 2018, Omar legally marries Hershey and is elected to Congress. Oh, and then she had an affair with, what was that guy? Yeah, and his wife mysteriously died. Well, no, his wife did not die, but a woman on the same street that looked identical to this guy's wife, who, you know, he was carrying on an affair behind her back with, you know, whatever you want to call her, Omar. Ilhan Omar. I have some other names for her, but I'm not here. But anyway, yeah. So this lady turns up dead. Nobody knows why she would be found murdered. Nobody didn't have any enemies. There's no leads or anything. But she lives on the same street as this guy's wife, who looked identical to her. So I think it was actually supposed to be a hit job on that guy's wife, and they ended up killing an innocent person. Well, they're both innocent, but they killed another person. That's what I think, because, you know, she obviously doesn't have a lot of scruples. She married her brother. So, yeah. So the Star Tribune's report from last June stated that newly released investigative documents released by a state agency have given fresh life to lingering questions about the marital history of Representative Ilhan Omar and whether she once married a man, possibly her own brother, to skirt immigration laws. Of course she did. Omar, who has repeatedly claimed that the allegations are baseless conspiracy theories, has refused to answer questions or turn over any documents to the Associated Press or the Star Tribune that could debunk what she claims is a conspiracy theory. Well, of course. All she's going to say is, "You're racist! You're racist! You racist pig! It's a conspiracy theory! I didn't marry my brother. It just looks like my brother." All right. Let's go back. Go back here. All right, and this from David Fagan. While the Democrats were bringing articles of impeachment over to the Senate, Donald Trump was signing a trade deal with China. Okay, that must be the deal that he signed today, in which they agreed to buy rice from us. That's like selling beef to Texas. That's like selling snow to Canadians. And Trump really has mastered the art of the deal. I would say so. You really, think about it. Would you have ever thought China would buy rice from the U.S.? Well, they are. All right. Let's go on. Okay, I think we already looked at this, about it's not about proof, and we don't need to look at it again. All right, and Representative Doug Collins, Speaker Pelosi will do anything she can to tear down Donald Trump. Today on the floor, she once again misrepresented the president's call with President Zelensky. He said, "Do us a favor, not me." He was looking out for the country, not himself. Yeah, she misquoted him again, you know, like Adam Schiff style, and said that he said, "Do me a favor." No, he never said that. And we have the transcript. So I don't know why people argue about this. The transcript has it all. Unbelievable. Okay, now let's look at this, because we can, and we will. Here we go. Let me close down some of these, because I've got zillions of them open. All right, now let's look at this. It says California DMV has accidentally, oh, we believe that. Thousands wouldn't, but we do, sure. Has accidentally changed over 100,000 voter registrations from Republican to Democrat. DMV also incorrectly registered over 30,000 drivers and double registered 77,000. Let's take a listen. Oh, you know what? This is too low. You're not going to be able to hear it. But anyway, you'll know that that happened. And what they're going to do about it, I don't know. Probably nothing. California seems to get away with murder. Literally. Okay, and let's go back now. And I'm just going to skip over here to make sure that this is recording, and it is, because, well, you know, you and I both know that that's happened before. Okay, so let's go back. Now, it says Pelosi uses $5,000 worth of bullet pens to impeach the president. President Trump uses a $1.99 Sharpie to sign a $2 billion trade deal with China. I think that's $2 billion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, $2 billion. Trade deal with China. So, yeah, there's a difference there, isn't there? One's a... Yeah, never mind. Never mind. I don't need to say it. I'm just going to be good. All right, and let's look at this, because it makes me angry. It's about Justine. Canada's Trudeau appears to blame airliner shoot-down on tensions brought about by U.S. actions. Yeah, they're not going to blame Iran, even though Iran has admitted that, yes, they did shoot it down by accident. Not that I believe that. But, you know, Trudeau hates Trump. I mean, hates him. And look at the nice little beard he's grown now. And he's trimmed his eyebrows too, I noticed, so that probably so they don't continue to slide down his face. But, you know, and he has converted to Islam, so maybe that's why the beard. I don't know. Maybe he thinks it makes him look less baby-faced. It doesn't. So anyway, yeah, it's all Trump's fault. Canadian Prime Minister Justine appeared to blame tensions brought about by U.S. actions for Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps blowing a civilian airliner out of the sky following their missile attack on an Iraqi base. Trudeau made the comment in an interview with Donna Friesen of Global News, centered around the shoot-down which killed dozens of Canadian citizens of Iranian origin. Friesen asked the Canadian Premier about the CEO of Maple Leaf, Michael McCain, who says he is mourning and he is livid. Time isn't making him less angry, and he's very clear on who he blames. U.S. government leaders unconstrained by checks and balances, and he says a narcissist in Washington tears world accomplishments apart and destabilizes the region. Is he wrong? Of course he's wrong. Prime Minister, he's always wrong, Trudeau. Trudeau would not say the businessman was wrong, answering that it doesn't surprise me to see a range of conclusions and messages coming from all Canadians of different types. Sounds so Trudeau-esque. Do you think that the people who died on the plane are collateral damage in the tensions between Iran and the U.S.? Friesen followed up. I think if there were no tensions, if there was no escalation recently in the region, those Canadians would be right now at home with their families. Yeah, okay, whatever. Now, I think it's absolutely horrific that they died, and I really do. But to blame that on Trump that's out there. That's really out there. Okay, now, we're just about done here. Really, we are. Or maybe we're not. No, we are. We really are. Now, what is this about? Oh yes, this is about, well, let's look at it. Why not look at it? Why talk about it? Okay. Says breaking, feds probing James Comey for previously unreported leaks involving Wasserman Schultz and Soros Open Society Foundation. Yeah. Good old James Comey. Corn! Ready for to be cut. You all know what I'm talking about. Fired FBI Chief James Comey admitted in June 2017 during congressional testimony that he leaked memos to his close friend Daniel Richman, a law professor at Columbia University, in order to push a special counsel against President Trump. In April 2008, James Comey admitted that he leaked his private and likely classified memos with Patrick Fitzgerald last year when he was fired. And now federal prosecutors are investigating whether fired FBI Director James Comey leaked classified information to reporters on the Clinton investigation back in 2016. Well, of course he did. Come on. Is there any question about that? All right. Now, it says, federal prosecutors in Washington, D.C. are probing whether former FBI Director James Comey leaked classified information about a Russian intelligence document to reporters. The New York Times reported Thursday, citing unnamed people familiar with the investigation. Specifically, the Times reported investigators are looking into at least two news articles about the document, which played a central role in Comey's unusual 2016 decision to announce that Hillary Clinton would not face criminal charges for using a private email server as Secretary of State. The documents, okay, the cursor is getting on my nerves. All right. The document has been described in various reports as a Russian intelligence analysis of a purported email sent from Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was then the chair of the Democratic National Committee, to an official at George Soros' organization, Open Societies Foundation. Some officials have suggested the document is purposeful. It should be purposefully, Russian misinformation, the Times said. The Russian analysis of the email reportedly stated that Wasserman Schultz told the Soros official, Leonard Bernardo, that then Attorney General Loretta Lynch would make sure the probe into Clinton's private email server wouldn't conclude with charges against Clinton. Yeah. Where did I leave off? Yeah, Wasserman Schultz and Bernardo, the Times noted, both deny being in contact with each other. Well, when have they ever told the truth? I mean, when has Debbie Wasserman Schultz ever told the truth? Just saying. All right. Well, I think that is it for tonight. And I do have some people to thank. And I'm going to do that now. So let's go all the way up here and thank these people. My gosh. It's been a couple days since I've, gone over this. So look at all of them. But anyway, the following are coffee donors, and I appreciate that so much. It helps. It keeps this channel being what it is, and helps to keep the channel growing as well. And I really appreciate that. There's no advertising on this site. Now, the following are coffee donors: Lynn, Roy, Steel on Steel, and Triple H. That's Heather H. from Houston. Now, what she told me is that I could spend it on whiskey and male strippers. But I told her that I don't drink whiskey. I'm just kidding. She knows that I wouldn't do that. That's why I said, well, but what if I spend it on, I know Heather H. from Houston and talk to her quite often. So yeah, we joke in that way. And I said, well, how do you know I'm not going to spend it on whiskey and male strippers? But I don't like whiskey. So, and yeah. Anyway, Debbie C., Laura Wild Petals. I love that name. Laura Wild Petals. Is that your real last name? It can't be, but it's a beautiful last name if it is. Gia, Rebecca R. Nyseth. I hope I pronounced that right, because I hate it when I butcher people's names after they're so kind to donate. John Bobo and Alexandris. All right, and picked up a bunch of Patreon supporters, new Patreon supporters. This is awesome. Joanne, Kim L. Curtis increased her pledge. Thank you so much. Deborah Clarkson, Monica Malone, Jean-Marc Tremblay, that sounds like a Canadian name. I don't know if they are or not, but it sounds like it. Doris Leona Peacock, Marcia Bacon. Oh, your last name sounds delicious. Crypto Floridian, Kelly Joyner Friel, Karen, Ray Liedberg, and Colton Weeks. Thank you so much. So we've gained new Patreon supporters and had people donate via coffee. Oh, and I had one snail mail. I had a lovely card, encouraging card and donation from Patricia B. from Utah. Thank you so much. I always, I don't know, I just get a kick out of receiving snail mail because you never seem to get it anymore, except if it's a bill. So it's nice to open it and see friendly, you know, little cards and your handwriting and everything. It's just nice. So anyway, thank you guys so much for donating. And I will be back tomorrow. No, really, I will. And tomorrow I'm hoping to have another installment on the series on what I've been covering. So I don't know. I tried to get that done for tonight, but it didn't go too well because I'm covering the next year, which is 2018. I'm covering those posts, and they are very, very cryptic and very hard to discern. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna. Some of them I can understand. Some of them are like, what? So it's going to take me a little bit more time researching that, but hopefully tomorrow. If not, I'll be back with news for sure. And that is it for tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth because deception bites. Good night.